Welcome back to the grim darkness of the 41st millennium. I'm Inquisitor Temperance Price, keeper of the Inquisition's Black Library, and this is the third volume in a report on the Valentyne Heresy, an actual play podcast set in the Genesis adaptation of Warhammer 40,000's Dark Heresy RPG. This report features Game Master Tom McGee and players Tyler Hewitt as Attikus Viz and Ryan LaPlante and Laura Hamstra as special guest characters. My report shows that the squad has landed on the planet's surface. Tsavora flame-throwered a rebel gun emplacement and was grievously injured. Moose Mouse provided covering fire and shredded the enemy. And Attikus continued his implacable advance. But can these heroes survive the oncoming Leman Russ battle tank? Or will their mission end in shame and failure? Find out next in this episode of the Valentyne Heresy.
A memo from the Imperial Armory. Do you truly think that it is wise to give every despotic ruler we set up their own fleet of tanks? Honestly, Tobias, what could go wrong? Well, my friends, this is what could go wrong. A Leman Russ battle tank tears through the center of town. This thing is just a beautiful nightmare of Imperium engineering. Machine Spirit was real fucking cranky when it built this guy. So this thing is a large tank, massive treads, kind of in like Warhammer tanks. If you haven't seen them, kind of have like trapezoid. Trapezoid, the right word I'm looking for, like like if you dump a rectangle slightly over and it's a little bit funky and angled. Those guys.
Parallelogram?
Parallelogram, thanks. Kind of like a parallelogram type of motherfucking tread. So a couple of those.
Oh, it does, yeah.
It's got a massive cannon on top in a very classic, this is what a tank looks like kind of way. It also has one of those like traditionally kind of like World War I guess like they were also in World War II, but like a front-mounted a las cannon that's just there to like mulch whatever's in front of it. And this particular vehicle is fully pimped out. It has sponson weapons, which are basically mounted onto the sides of the parallelograms. And you're dealing with a pair of twin-linked heavy bolters on each side. So this thing is built to kill, built to maim, built to destroy, and generally make life unpleasant. And behind it, in the distance, you can see the governor's mansion. As we've established, the glorious Regals have arrived on Acton 4 in order to put down a rebellion, a local, as I put it in the prologue, despot has basically decided, fuck the Imperium, this is my planet, and has dispatched with most of the guard force that was sent to kill him. You haven't figured out what happened to them yet, but you have seen certainly bodies around and rubble around. This stretch of downtown is ripped from the design pages of Gears of War, so everything is very grandiose and marble and fancy, but also broken and crumbling. Lots of chest high walls. If you want a roadie run to those. And of course, our heroes, which need no introduction because we've spent so very much time with them over the course of our adventure. We have Trooper Attikus Viz. We have Flamer Heavy Trooper Tsavora Dragonorov, who's definitely not Roz from Frasier, but maybe. And we spent all that Patreon money for special guests on Barry Gilpin, so enjoy. And of course, everyone's favorite comedic sidekick, Moose Mouth, our famed character.
Mouse or mouth?
Mouse.
It was going back and forth.
Do you know what? Yeah, he's been Moose Mouse. He's been Moose Mouth. He's been Mouth. He's been Moose. You call him whatever you want. He's here to fuck and shoot things with a heavy bolter.
Yeah,
call him whatever you want. He's here to fuck.
He is here to fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So the three of you have just spilled out of your sort of landing craft on the your sort of classic beaches of Normandy landing craft. You spilled out into a broken courtyard. The governor's mansion is the target. You managed to fuck up some traitors to the glorious Imperium, and now you are facing down the tank. If you'll recall, your positioning is roughly Tsavora, you went up the left side. Moose Mouse, you went up the right, and Attikus, I think you were with Moose Mouse on the right, away from the flamer.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, as makes sense. Cool beans. Okay, you have a moment before the tank fires. You don't get an action, but you can sure say some stuff to each other. What is your reaction to this Leman Russ tank rolling into town?
Tsavora just says her catchphrase. She's like, it's okay. I'm going to live forever. And gets ready to,
live forever.
Forever.
Start thinking about like how damaging
forever.
it's going to be to your relationships to know they're temporal and you are not.
Moose Mouse is just going to look to Attikus and be like, I done fucked a whole lot of people. It's time to fuck that tank. She's got a demo charge. You got a sword. I'm going to shoot that motherfucker in the side to get her distracted. Hopefully she demos it. If not, get up there and stab your way in, bitch.
Attikus will, after all of that, Attikus will just be like, right, and just get ready. He's got one frag grenade left. If he can somehow pop the hatch or something like that and throw it in there, tank will have been dealt with. But that's a big if.
Yeah, I think we've had enough training that we're all aware that this is really going to ride on that demo charge more than it is on anything else.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So you guys have start with Tsavora. The front-mounted, given that you've just been like firing your flamethrower everywhere, like the bad guy from the beginning of Lethal Weapon 4, the Leman Russ is going to kind of grab you in its sights.
Oh.
And
I was like, what grabbed me?
yeah. It's sorry, did I not mention the giant
Just imagine it
spectral arms?
like a garbage truck, like stopping, little arm coming out.
Look, you best believe there are vehicles in the Warhammer universe that can be bought for a lot of money that do have that. They're often orcish. No, sorry. The lasgun turret turns toward you because you're making a big flashy target of yourself. The good news for you is because you are small, it is like it's very easy to like cause a lot of damage with a tank, but it is also harder to like aim with tremendous precision. So it cranks towards you. That's a bit concerning. So I'm going to give it a point of disadvantage. I believe story point wise, we're 1 and 3 in my favor.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
Yeah, cool. So I am going to crank this up. Yeah, why not? No, I'm not. I lied. Cool. So that's it from me. I'm going to give it a point of boost because you're firing a flamethrower a bunch, which actually makes you an easier. You're very. It's not hard to find you right now, particularly because you're on the other side of the flame wall. And I think that's it. And then what I need from you, Laura, is do you have any ranged defense?
Ranged defense.
I doubt it. One. Ryan is.
I think all guard have one. If we're looking at the base guard profile.
Yeah. Great. That is that then. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna roll my dice. It's so weird rolling dice in this game. So rarely do I actually get to roll an attack. So the last cannon turns towards you, and opens fire. Okay. So that is 2 successes and 3 advantages.
We're gonna miss you.
Yeah. So
I'll be somewhere else, living my life. Forever.
Yeah, living is an interesting phrase. Okay, so Laura, that's going to be 6 damage to you. It does breach 2, which I believe ignores armor. I know we've talked about that in terms of tanks, but I think the way we've basically
we've allowed it for armor because it seems silly for the anti-tank to do nothing to personnel.
It's also going to activate a critical. So if you're still standing,
my wound threshold was 5. Tsavora, she goes, it's like, I'm going to live forever. And it's just cut off. And yeah. Bye.
And over the tank vox, you just hear, nope. So Moose Mouse and Attikus, you see Tsavora just like hitting in a classic action hero thing, like in the film Lethal Weapon 4. The flame canister on your back explodes. So you just like, you get vaporized, the tank behind you erupts, and there's kind of a massive explosion. There is, however, to a great, like the Harry Gregson Williams score from The Rock, like in slow motion, there's more Imperial Guard just like rushing through the flames behind you and like leaping through dramatically. We can see their silhouettes. It's like Coppola filmed it. It's pretty dope. But yes, you're very, very dead. So go back to our big old list of Imperial Guard and pick a new one. Go back to the gumball machine and get a different flavor. Meanwhile, the main turret turns towards Attikus and Moose Mouse. You guys establish you're behind cover. So that's good. That gives you that's a setback for me. I am going to spend a story point on this one. So that gets jacked up. You guys get you're small, so that's another setback. However, stats on this cannon are such that if you're firing in the general vicinity you want to hit, you probably hit. So I get some.
Attikus, did you get up to the barrier, or are you beside me?
I think I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. We nailed it. We both have range defense 1. That's going to be the game changer right there.
Yeah.
Look, at this point, you're really going to want whatever you can get. Okay, cool.
I would like to use a story point for Attikus.
Cool. I respect.
I don't know what that does, but I would like to do it.
Well, it jacks up my difficulty.
Perfect.
Because it's weird because in my head I am purple and red dice, so anytime I have to make a roll, I'm always so confused because I'm like, oh man, there's a lot of yellow here. I'm gonna get fucked. I'm like, oh no, they're mine. So I don't know. Maybe I just need to commit to the villain role and just be like, no, only the evil dice for me. Okay, cool. Let's roll those bones. Oh dear. So that is 3 success, 4 advantage. So the cannon erupts, just belches fire, and a shell sort of hurls toward you. This thing is so it's a battle cannon. It only does damage 3, but it will activate a critical. It's breach 2, and it's also vicious 3. So it's not a great time.
How many successes did you have?
3.
So they get added to the damage, right? So it's 6
Correct.
damage?
6 damage.
Vicious 3 matters for critical injuries. So yeah, we can find out how we get injured. This will be fun.
Great. So there's a massive eruption. You're both blasted. You're both still up?
Yep, I am.
Yep. I've got a Soka 4, so yes, we are both up.
Amazing. So you get hurled through the air by this explosion as the barricade gets blown apart. I need to bring up the critical hit chart because I don't have that in front of me. So one moment while I do that. So if I'm not mistaken, Vicious bumps up your...
Plus 10 per point in Vicious.
Yeah, that's not great. Okay, so from both of you then, what I'm going to need is a D100 roll.
Wait, from me?
No,
I'm
two
dead.
People who are, yes, you're
You have the most critical of injuries.
Yep.
I got mine.
All right, go for it, Tyler.
94.
94.
Before adding 30 or after adding 30?
And then I add 30.
That's a base roll, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Add 30 for the
I wonder
fun
how
times.
Attikus lost his arm.
Incidentally, you land on gruesome injury. So yes. Ryan, what did you pull?
I rolled a 41, so it becomes a 71.
71. You're hamstrung. You lose your free maneuver until this critical injury is healed. Oh no, no bonus actions for Moose.
No. I can't run then, aim then, shoot. Nuts.
Damn. Yeah, I know that was your whole thing. That's when you and I spent all those hours at that retreat building this character. Alongside Gav Thorpe and Matt Mercer, we really talked a lot about how much you loved that free roll. Okay, so Attikus, your arm is shredded from your body, and fire kind of tears across it, burning you badly and ripping your arm from its socket. It doesn't help that you have to land after this happens, so you're overwhelmed with pain, but you're also Attikus fucking this. So you go for a tumble, and although you're in dire need of medical attention, you are still conscious, if barely. And Mouse, how does being hamstrung, just kind of sleepy, how does that play for you? Just like a vague injury to your leg, or like what are you thinking?
Moose Mouse took a piece of shrapnel right across the forehead, so he has that like flap of skin hanging down, and he can't see out of his one eye because he's just bleeding down over the one eye.
Yeah, okay.
Very distracting.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, you got Peaky Blinders. Did it?
Run, aim, and shoot now because you got to run, stop, hold your forehead up. Yeah.
Well, that's where the salute came from originally. It was you had to flip up your forehead skin. That's what they call it, foreskin. All right, so you're Attikus. You're badly injured.
My foreskin, baby.
There you go. You're still up. The tank still has its side guns, but given that it's like rolled in and it's fired with those two things, I think like it probably can't also aim and fire all the things because it did move and it's not hamstrung, but it can't fire all the shit all at once. So it is over to the two of you as a heroic new Imperial Guards person rushes in to assist. Laura, who runs up to Atticus's aid?
Another demolitions expert.
Demolish that injury.
Hell yeah. Otto
there are
Kilborn.
two medics on the list. We have a demo.
Yeah, but they're not close. So what Otto does, Otto has an Inferno pistol. So he's going to just like go, like basically screaming, just like shoot a bunch of shit, like just randomly, just go like, ah! Just like spraying fire. And
so
then,
what does Otto look like? I just want to be clear.
Oh, so Otto is essentially Brett Gelman from Stranger Things, i.e. like the paranoid guy who gets roped into helping them and leaving his
loves
hideout.
vodka, does martial arts.
Exactly. Yeah. So he's like, kind of like a tall, big guy, huge beard.
He's also the cheating husband from Fleabag, if you're looking for more Gelman.
Yeah. So he's just like running and just like shooting kind of wherever, not really looking. But the great thing is that the end of his weapon gets really hot. So he just says, what do we call them? Troopers?
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're, it's like, trooper here! And just literally grabs Atticus's stump and pushes the tip of his weapon onto it to cauterize the wound and stop the bleeding.
Great. Attikus howls in pain and then punches Otto in the face with his good arm.
And Otto says, "No, it's happening again! It's happening again! They're turning on me!" And he just runs off.
Great. I love that for all of us. I think this is going to be a match made in heaven. Tyler, I'm going to request a roll from you to see if you're still conscious after this cacophony of bullshit has been laid down upon you here. So if you could please go ahead and roll me, what are we going to call this? It is going to be resilience and brawn.
And I'm using the other stats for this kind of roll, right?
You are using the Attikus of this era stats for everything that's you're asking. Yeah, you don't get your cool, sexy later in the story Attikus stats. You get garbage stats.
So resilience only then, because resilience already is brawn. as I understand it.
Yeah, so your resilience, whatever rank you have in resilience, and then your brawn is what turns green into yellow. So if you have 2 resilience and 2 brawn, then those 2 green that you get from resilience would become yellow, and vice versa. How many ranks do you have in brawn, and how many ranks do you have in resilience?
That's 2 brawn and 1 rank of resilience, so it's 1 green and 1 yellow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Dope.
I'm looking for difficulty to throw into this.
Yeah, so this is gonna be difficulty 3, I think. Yeah, let's go with. No, I'm gonna say 4. You've just been very badly hurt, and then badly hurt again. I'm gonna give you 1 boost for punching him. You've been able to focus some of that pain into rage immediately, so that's helpful. And honestly, I'm gonna give you another boost because the wound is cauterized, so you're no longer like it's not well cauterized, but like at least isn't as much. There isn't as much blood.
Who needs a medic?
Yeah.
Anyone's a medic if you try hard enough.
Let's see if he's awake after treatment.
Yeah. I want to use a story point.
Sure thing.
Because Attikus he's got a lot to prove here. Okay, I'm ready to roll.
All right, go for it, bud.
Yeah, I'm in there, dog. 2 successes, 1 advantage.
Yeah, okay. So you've got like your vision is blurred despite your robust glasses situation. But you're managing to hang on to consciousness in large part out of spite, honestly, if we're playing it that way. I should give you the information though. I was really excited with the narrative consequences. But okay, yeah, your brawn is permanently reduced by 1. Which will affect future rolls, but not that one because we were thinking about it. But until the injury is healed, you lose one brawn from your gruesomeness. Gruesome.
I will write that down.
Okay. So, good news is you're still awake and active. Otto, your full name is Otto Kiloborn, I see from my screen, so that's great.
Yes.
You've continued to run off firing.
He's running, like, you have to understand, like, knees up high, kind of like he's, like, trying to touch the ground as little as possible with an Inferno pistol just, like, up to the sky shooting.
Okay, can I? The answer may be like there's no rhyme or reason. May I ask why the pistol in the air? Is it to like draw attention to himself? Is he doing the Goldblum flare thing from Jurassic Park?
Also,
or like...
the amazing thing is an Inferno pistol is a melt-a-weapon, which means it's not shooting bullets. It's actually a stream of plasma just trailing behind you like an Olympic gymnast.
So Otto was ambushed in the past, so he's just totally paranoid. So he assumes that wherever he's not looking, there's an ambush coming for him. Right now, it's up top.
Admittedly, firing a steady stream of like superheated plasma that trails behind you, not a bad way to stop getting like attacked from behind.
If he stops moving, does it just catch up with him and he just showers himself in?
He's running so goddamn fast.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's got those knees up.
But yes, I imagine.
My childhood soccer
doesn't go
coach
nowhere.
Yeah. It's not like Spider-Man's webs. Cool. Okay, so you've got deadly silly string, and you're trying to avoid ambushes. Moose Mouse.
I've got a weird pitch for you, Tom, but it's a deep cut like 4th edition 40K reference that I want to make.
Well, I think put on my 4th edition.
I know
jacket.
Moose Mouse has seen Tsavora, the love of his life, die, and he's seen Attikus lose an arm. And this new guy's not going to be of any help. Otto's crazy. So in the old 40K rules, you were allowed to do death or glory, which meant you fired your weapon and you either took the vehicle out or it automatically kills you. It was just like you could basically stand in charge. And I would just like Moose Mouse to be like, for the Emperor! And charge forward and jam his heavy bolter into the battle cannon tube and just fire right down the barrel into the magazine if he can. Or he just gets fucking murdered.
We can absolutely try that. Yes.
Yay!
You can try.
Death and glory, bitches! And then he just runs.
Great. So I think we're going to call this probably an athletics because you need to climb the tank and then jam a heavy bolter into it, which is like not not a light experience. Cool. So go ahead, you beautiful sacrificial boy.
Great. What's my difficulty, Tom?
I mean, not good. I'm gonna give you a difficulty of 5 on this, because
Hell yeah.
in addition to the difficulty of actually doing this, there's also all of the like people in the distance firing at you, spawns and everything else. So difficulty of 5. That said, because you're going for death or glory, I am going to give you 2 free boost because you don't really care if you get hurt or not. You get a further boost for the silhouette of the tank blocking incoming fire.
Great.
I'm going to give you a setback for just how fucking heavy the gun is. And climbing with it would be a real bitch. As someone who's like bad on stairs with a heavy bag, I got to assume that in the grim darkness of the future, it is also hard to carry heavy things. I think that's it for the case I would make. I'm going to spend a story point just to keep things spicy.
That makes sense. I don't have any, so that's just its own thing.
Yeah.
Tom, this is a weird question. What's the tank's defense? I don't know how fucking vehicles work.
I have it right here. The defense is actually 0 because it's got armor and threshold and a bunch of other weird shit. So the advantage you get in terms of like defense is it's harder to miss this thing than it is to hit it because it's large.
Fair enough.
You're just trying to do an extraordinary thing, so the difficulty is a bit more jacked.
Now, as we know, Moose Mouse is a guy. He's a bit of a player. He's got a lot of experience putting, items into holes. Do we think we could argue that
Good
putting
God.
the heavy bolter into
Jesus.
the cannon barrel is
Fuck
an
right.
applicable skill for perhaps
I
a boost?
appreciate the pitch. That's gonna be a no from me, dog.
Thank you.
Just
Thank you, Tom.
The angle is too different, and it's not what he's used to. There's not like cool, smooth tunes playing in the background. Like no candles, no dinner. Like it's not his jam. But I appreciate.
It's too abstract, I think. Do you have some specific examples of how he puts things in holes to maybe...
I'm happy to just see how this roll goes myself.
I mean, he's stood on his head to put things where they needed to be at a time. So, there's been a lot of different heights and challenges.
I see.
Okay. Cool. Let's roll some
mind.
dice. Sorry, Laura, you want in on
Nope.
Oh, did you want more examples, Laura?
Would you like to comment on the
I was going to ask a
Hindenburg
question. I realized I didn't want to know the
Laura's
answer.
been
So
drawn into the physics and the mechanics now.
Check
it's
the
true.
wiki
That's
later.
how you get me. Yeah, it's on weird.
It's also dangerous for Laura because she
technicalities.
pictures the things that I say out loud and I don't. So, I'm immune.
I have
it's just the punishment for others.
very detailed mental imagination. So just fuck off.
Well, get ready, Laura. Prep that imagination for the exciting result of this roll Ryan's going to make. Let's see.
3 successes, 2 threats. Fuck
Hell
you, that
yeah.
tank.
All right. So
That's incredible.
Explain
Holy
your spectacular death, Moose Mouse.
Moose Mouse just sprints forwards, and he's just yelling for the Emperor, and he manages to just get that perfect moment where he hits a hill for the perfect jump with the heavy bolter overhead, and it's just bam right into the battle cannon, and he depresses the trigger just as he hears the tanker inside, the tank commander, yell fire, and he's like, "Oh yeah!" Docking! And then just bam, bolter shells hit the shell inside the tank, and the whole thing lights up, and it's gone.
Great. The tank erupts in a massive fireball, consuming Moose Mouse and buying you, Attikus, time to get somewhere. So Otto has gone off running, and Moose Mouse just self-immolated to blow up the tank. And your vision is blurring. Things are looking kind of dire. That said, not too far from here, you can see, kind of fighting happening in the alleyways. The unfortunate thing about basically, like, you're fighting down the main drag. So there are lots of kind of side streets and alleys that you can duck into. Down one of the side streets, you see Gareth Scarhouse and some of his unit just kind of like duking it out in close quarters with people, and you're not quite sure what he can do for you, but at this point, as you said, you've got a lot to prove. You've got a lot that you want to do, and without some kind of treatment that isn't just getting a hot gun shoved into your snub, you're going to need some help. So I would recommend, Attikus, that you start kind of making your way over there as fire comes in, because your current squad is doing a lot of dying and not a lot of advancing. Would that be true of Attikus?
Well, where's the governor house in relation to where we are right now?
Governor house? It is still a ways away. So you are probably about, let me just look at my map here. I would say like a conservatively a couple of city blocks away. And there's rubble and fighting. You can hear the tread of other tanks kind of in the distance and the sound of cannons. Basically, to set the stage for what you're looking at, this long kind of central boulevard is it's got kind of there's a massive park up ahead on your right, which is very much like Victoria Park in Toronto, where it's like it had beautiful like gardens, a lot of greenery, fountains. Was clearly in a city of like white. Mostly like white stone. It was kind of meant to be the splash of color where people could go and like enjoy greenery. So that's up ahead on your right. Fairly open. It's also being shelled to shit. So there's like blasts of dirt and flowers and like the occasional cherub. But of course they've got a skull for a head or some nonsense because 40K. On your left are buildings. And sort of before the park where you are and after the park are also buildings. And these would be like a courthouse or kind of like a large, like they're all impressive things. You can think of this almost as like a shrunk down version of the Washington Mall. Definitely not that wide, but kind of like every building is kind of austere. And the central boulevard leads to like a statue of the governor. And then past that, kind of at the top of a hill is the governor's mansion. So if you're thinking of like a straight shot to the mansion to see if you can go like grenade the guy before you pass out, it is far too far away for that, unfortunately.
Okay, and Scarhouse is on the left, like the building side. Then,
yeah. So he's between a couple of the buildings, sort of like fighting through. His squad is like shooting people out of windows. Berserkers are leaping at them. There's a lot of the two people wrestle over a rifle things going on, but it's a much more kind of like brutal hand-to-hand combat situation. They seem to have the upper hand though.
All right, I guess I'll rendezvous with them, and I'll say as much into the radio of just he'll just say squad, there's too much fire here, everyone get out of the open, we need to get to those buildings.
Otto, you're worried about ambushes, and you got punched by this guy a few minutes ago. Do you heed his warning, or do you continue up the main boulevard?
I think it's like he's paranoid, like in the moment, but not every single moment. So he's recovered a bit from that. So he'll do kind of a quick like pirouette with his gun, and then continue forward.
Okay, fantastic. So Otto and Attikus, you kind of sprint into an alleyway, and you can actually see, now that you're in the alley, Imperial Guardsmen just dead everywhere. They're not Glorious Regals. They're from the previous unit that was sent here, and they all have like dark purple veins sort of in their face very clearly. It looks like they've all been poisoned. And like faces caught in like rictus screams, and people like clawing at their face and everything else. So you can tell that there's been some kind of chemical agent deployed that is dealt with the previous forces. That said, there's fresh fighting between the Regals and the rebel forces in the alleyway. Otto and Attikus, you stumble into the alley to see, and Otto, I know this is gonna be real hard for you, but you stumble into the alleyway and see an ambush occur as in front of you, two axe wielding, and like when I talk axe, I'm talking like made of like a heavy metal bits that have been kind of welded together. Berserkers leap down from a balcony and kind of like basically flank Scarhouse and his unit and are looking to move in. The good news for you guys is you just got here. So Otto and Attikus, as you see these two kind of like raise their weapons over someone who's on the ground, kind of trying to fend them off. What do you do?
All I've got left is my sword hand. So I have my sword in my one remaining hand, and I turn to Otto and I say, this is going to be a freak. He's going to be a fucking melee. So you keep that gun clear of friendlies, you understand?
Otto just says, it's like, don't, like he's like, fuck it. I don't know. He just fucking runs.
I like to imagine he said that whole thing though, like even just fuck it.
No, that's really, he's literally like trying to like get some footing here. Cause you have to understand, coming upon an ambush is like his moment. He's overcome with emotion. This is his moment. No one's going to stop him. No one's going to take this away from him, including this guy beside him who wants him to, like, whatever, be careful.
So when you talk about running, are you running away or running towards?
Towards.
Yeah, that makes a big difference. In my head, it was just out. And this is much
sorry,
better.
no.
Yeah,
I'm
you were
kind of
talking big
imagining-
emotions, but didn't specify what the emotions were.
If it was
so
fear
positive
or
or negative.
courage.
I'm also kind of
Guys,
imagining-
I'm just really method. I'm just really getting into it.
guess so,
myself, as a player, am overwhelmed by
It's
this
the Gelman
moment.
way, you know. You gotta go. Well, and he actually went back to the 1980s to film Stranger Things. Laura, I'm imagining the way you've been describing your melta gun, and Ryan, I really appreciate your like Olympic ribbon. I'm also imagining Kate McKinnon in Ghostbusters with her like two photon pistols, where they're like the blades of chaos from God of War, but also guns. So I'm gonna say you go first, Attikus. I appreciate you have your sword, but I imagine that Otto running forward and firing is probably going to take precedence over that.
Attikus would allow that whole thing to resolve itself before moving forward.
So, Otto, you rush forward with your gun.
Hell yeah.
From a different angle, looking up at two axe-wielding maniacs is a medic who's been knocked to the ground and is sort of scrambling up against a wall. You've dropped your weapon. Ryan, who is this medic, and what do they look like as they see this man with a melta gun running forward? I ask now because based on the way Laura described this, I don't know if you're getting another chance, bud. So let's hear it.
Oh man. Okay. So I am Scrumble Dumpling. If I said it right.
Family name?
And I did. Scrumble Dumpling. A medic who has suffered so much brain damage that their face is twisted into a permanent expression of panic. And they can only talk by screaming, but they have a vox coder in their neck that translate their screams into full sentences.
Yes, it's like the Lobaka situation from the young Star Wars books. I like it. Yeah.
And they look like Pauly Shore. So that's Scrumble Dumpling on the ground. Just
Okay, I gotta ask: is Scrumble
brain damaged
Dumpling
Pauly Shore
their given name, or is this a code name? Is this their did they earn it in the battlefield? Where does Scrumble Dumpling come from?
Scrumble Dumpling is a problem with the vox coder, which is they had a name, they were injured, given a vox coder and assigned to this unit. Whenever they try to say their name, Scrumble Dumpling comes out. It's clearly an error for the vox coder because you're like, Scrumble Dumpling, and that's all that comes out. And it is infuriating for everyone, or at least it was. Now everyone thinks it's funny except Scrumble Dumpling, who is livid that no one knows their name.
This is just for Tyler and I, but it sounds like the Patriots had something to do with Scrumble Dumpling here. Okay, great. I love this. This is very fun. So Scrumble Dumpling, what are you equipped with? Like, have you made any modifications to your glorious Regal's kind of like dress uniform that we should be aware of?
Scrumble Dumpling, it's a tank top on the top because he needs to keep the Vox coder available, and he does not have a good one. So it is almost a full like metal choker that wraps around the full neck with a speaker that hangs down like a lame rapper in the 90s.
Yeah, like Flava Flav's clock. But
yeah, it's Flava Flav's clock, but as the Vox coder that is also strapped around the back so it doesn't like bounce all over the place. And then he just he's got the body of a guy who just hangs out on a beach, but like doesn't surf, just drinks while other people surf.
Mm-hmm. And you've got just, I assume, the standard guardsman loadout. You've got like a flashlight and a flashlight pistol.
Yeah. He had the last gun, but if he's been disarmed, then he got it now.
It's nearby, right?
But last pistol and a medikit, so that's his gear.
So, Scrumble Dumpling, you're looking up at these two axe wielding maniacs, and Otto. Now's your time to shine. You get one action before they bring the axes down, and Scrumble Dumpling's got to start rolling to get out of the way. These two axe-wielding maniacs are not staring at you. They're staring at Scrumble Dumpling. So you've got your opportunity. What do you do?
How far away am I?
You're coming into the alley, so I'd say probably like 10 feet.
Oh, okay. So what I'd like to do is run forward and like kind of slide in behind one of them on the outside of this thing, and I want to try to get both of their heads in one shot. Mm-hmm. Just like a nice slidey, line them up and just like boo.
Yeah.
That's
I like
what
that.
An Inferno pistol sounds like.
I've played. Yeah. It's canonically true.
Boo.
Pistols. All right, I like that. I've played enough skill shot video games that this all tracks for me. I got some like super hot vibes coming from this, so I like that. Okay, cool. So, Laura, I think this is probably then going to be 2 rolls.
Okay.
Because I want the first one to be you getting into position, and then we can do you trying to fire.
Okay.
So this sounds to me like I think this is a coordination check.
Fair.
To kind of like get in and get placed. So that's obviously agility.
Agility, right?
Yeah.
So it's 2 green then?
Yeah. So 2 green. I'm going to give you a boost because it sounds like you have thought of this moment your entire life.
Hell
so this is like...
Otto has pictured like every single possible ambush scenario. Like he's ready.
Unfortunate he'll never meet Eli, because it sounds like this is exactly what Eli wants from everyone in drills, but just happening over here.
Yeah. Although Eli doesn't want to get like melted in the face.
Look, we all have our weird hang-ups, and getting melted in the face is one of his. That's fine. All right, cool. So that's that. These 2 clowns are standing pretty close together because they're both trying to attack the same person on the ground in melee. So I don't think there's any additional stuff there.
Sweet.
They have defensive 1. So
that's setback, right?
Yeah. So that's... Oh, but you're not shooting them yet, so that doesn't matter. Defense doesn't make any sense. I will give you a setback for the terrain. It's just fucking awkward back here. And I'll give you 1 more boost because they're not looking at you.
Nice.
So you can
What's my difficulty?
Your difficulty is going to be 3, only because it's difficult to get yourself wedged in the right place.
Okay. Let's see what happens.
Roll damn bones.
Oh fuck! 2 failures.
Yum.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Wait, that's just getting into position though.
Yeah, it is. So I'm sure everything will be fine. Otto, you run in, and what cool line did you always imagine you would say? Do you accidentally say out loud as you get into position? Because you've imagined it so many times, and you've always thought of yourself as the hero in this moment. So unfortunately, you've got a lot of bangers for various scenarios. What's the line you let slip as you're trying to get into position?
It's like he says, this is for, and then like losing his balance. Like, so they just go, oh, fuck! Like, can't get the rest out. And oh my God, I think that above anything else is probably what makes him like like, that's like the first failure is like a slip, and then the second failure is him realizing that like he didn't say the full line and his moment got interrupted.
Cool. So, Otto, I got some bad news for you. Based on how badly this went, you're going to get to try and shoot one of these two guys.
Yeah.
And then they're both going to take their swing at you because Scrumple Dumpling is not a threat. He was just an adorable target. So let's go ahead with your attack roll and see if you can hope to take one of these guys down with you before the bad things happen to you.
Okay, what's my difficulty?
So difficulty is actually only 1 because you're literally like
right
point
there.
blank firing a melta weapon, which isn't hard.
And I have 1 setback for their defense.
That's correct.
And any boost or anything?
No, you get a
2
boost
failures,
from. I mean,
makes
like
sense.
really, the range difficulty thing is already, I'd say, the biggest boost.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'd leave it at that.
All right, rolling. Hey, dude, 1 success, 1 triumph, 1 threat.
Holy
Hot
shit.
diggity damn. What is the damage on your weapon?
Damage is a Inferno Pistol 13. Yeah,
Okay.
13.
That'll do, pig. That'll do. So yeah, you true to the name, melt one of their surprised faces because they just watched you whiff it so badly that like this really seemed like an easy target, and then you just like full on opening the Ark of the Covenant at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, just face melts away. However, the other guy is going to take a swing at you. What is your defense there, Laura?
1.
1. Okay. Where are you at, dice roller? There you are.
Honestly,
Okay.
like failing in an epic moment is very that character.
I
like,
agree.
from
I think
Stranger
it's
Things.
this all tracks. Okay. Waka waka, doing my rolls, and you have 1 defense. Okay, rolling dice. Oh man. 2 success, 1 triumph, and the axe comes down. And Otto, what are your final words as you watch one guy melt and then the axe come down at you? Or do you even notice the axe? Or are you just so wrapped up in the moment of melting that one guy?
I think he's wrapped up in all the emotion of flubbing the line and then the triumph of actually melting one of the guys that he's like, he's already celebrating his victory and doesn't notice the axe coming down.
Honestly, he might be the happiest man in 40K as the axe cleaves into the center of your forehead, dropping you to 1 knee before the guy cracks it to the side, kind of breaking your skull a bit to pull it free, and then turning to face Attikus Vis, who stands alone against this axe-wielding maniac, who, if he can't stop him, will likely kill the only person who can save Atticus's life. Scrumple Dumpling the medic.
This episode of the Valentyne Heresy features Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter as Inquisitor Lucius Valentyne, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter as Attikus Viz, Laura Hamstra at EL Hamstring on Twitter as Eli Sharp, Del Borovic at Deltastic on Twitter as Morgan Rawls, and our Game Master Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and the Valentyne Heresy's artwork was created by Del Borovic at delborovic.com, DELBOROVIC. Our theme song is The Hordes by Megan McDuffie, and our ads use the tracks No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum-Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. We have merchandise available at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, and most importantly, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDICE. Ave Imperator, and death to all the heretics.
Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time. The Half-Blind Prophet, Christopher Little, Sue 1, George Dolby, Richard Cranium, Gavin and Abby McDonald, Logan, Fire Unfriendly, Grandma Likes D&D, Alan, Stabby Stranger, Glitch Trick, Roman Brown, Spot Allen, Flynn1138, Alarain Okapi, OMG It's Big Nick, D&D and Things, Norma Byers, Schrodinger's Pepper, Guy Edwards, Flea Unit, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.